I'd like to thank the Tennessee Titans and Nissan Stadium for hosting us this morning. I don't think we had anyone reach out for public comment on today's action items, so we'll move to the agenda. So on Friday, you received the minutes from our January meeting. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the motion passes. So, as you remember, some of you probably remember, the board spent 2022 celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And for me personally, that was a big deal because my athletic experience was definitely a product of Title IX. We honored Nashvillians who impacted our community, nation, state, and world through their participation in and support of women's athletics. But this morning, our Spotlight series returns, and we're excited to shine the light on Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball, which recently wrapped up its first season in Nashville, its fourth season in existence at this time. I would like to turn it over to our Director Holmes Jones to interview Allie Clever with AU. Allie, we're so happy to have you with us this morning.
Is the camera going to be on Allie?
Let's give him some love.
All right. No, I was for real. Is it going to be on Allie? Okay. How y'all doing? So I'm excited. Being able to bring something that to me is legacy, a legacy move, and to work with all of the folks that worked on this project, there's so many to be named, to make this happen, to bring AU sports to Nashville. They were a pleasure to work with, but long game, they really impacted Nashville in just a short amount of time. So Allie's going to tell you how they did that. They did it so well, though, I think if you have not read in the news or heard anything about it, that they're coming back for 2 more years. So to me, that's the biggest thing. Our board, of course, had a big hand in it and really made sure that that was, something that we could do. And, when you talk about women's basketball, if you're not into it at this level, you probably are running behind. So get in the game, folks. But let's talk about it, Allie. What was the secret sauce? Like, how did y'all come in less than 4 months, in my opinion, and really just impact a city, take over, make a sport the most prominent thing for that moment in time? How did that happen? What's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce is working with a lot of the organizations that are represented in this room and beyond. I think when we decided to come to Nashville, Sheila Gibson from the Nashville Sports Council Women in Sports Committee really put together an organizing committee that comprised of public and private entities from across the city, many of which are in the room that we worked with, to really make sure that when we got here, we were connected to the community. What we didn't want to do was come in as a traveling property and kind of just plop in and plop out. We wanted to connect with the city, have an authentic experience, and really leverage the fact that this city has no women's professional sports property at all. And so how do we harness the energy behind the moment that culturally we're having around women's sports, but also really tap into the fact that there's a long and rich and deep history of women's basketball in Tennessee. So we very intentionally linked arms with those community leaders and civic leaders and made sure that we know what we don't know when we're coming into a community. And we knew that Nashville wanted women's sports, specifically women's basketball. And we were very open to how to connect with different properties. And I think, again, the jaded New Yorker in me, I was very surprised and humbled by the fact that whenever we did reach out to other, brother leagues, right? Like the Titans, like the Predators, like the Nashville Soccer Club, we were welcomed with open arms to bring our talent to their games to help grow their audience and bring them to women's sports. But more importantly, women's sports is only going to grow when we have the support and allyship of our counterparts on the men's side. So all of that resulted in a very positive 4-week experience for us. And on the business side, we saw a 96% viewership increase. We saw 89% attendance, or 86% attendance increase. We saw 151% increase in merch sales. We saw 116% in social engagement across platforms. So it was by the metrics alone, it was a successful year for us. We felt like we had a home here. We were so welcomed by the community. And I think now that we have another year where we only had 4 months to just totally hit the ground running, I think we have a lot of momentum behind us. And I look forward to kind of deepening the relationships that we've had. to grow them to be more impactful next year.
Definitely. I think so. If the secret sauce was all of those great numbers, and I mean, was it Nashville? Because I would say it was Nashville.
I think it was Nashville. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. We had not had that success in any other in a touring property, right? Like, and I think really kind of doubling down and engaging with the community, like I said, and like really getting in there and listening and saying how do we connect with the community in a meaningful way, but also the openness of Nashville to help us. It really was incredibly special.
Do we see that in corporate partnerships or media coverage? What was kind of the pusher in your mind?
I think media coverage was outstanding. I think the fact, again, like locally, we had athletes doing appearances, not only media appearances, but other appearances, marketing appearances. We saw incredible engagement on the business side. I mean, we partnered with the Nashville Sports Council just on tip-off day, which was National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and thanks to Jahari Matthews, we had this wonderful breakfast here, and that was attended by leaders from across the city, and across sectors, which is important. So I think it's, there's different audiences that is going to help this grow. It's being part of the community, of the business community, and understanding where we fit and do we fit as part of that ecosystem from a professional sports landscape, but it's also the community engagement. We had a community day of giving where all of our athletes went out and actually activated with community organizations in the city, which they loved, and that connects them to the city, and they have an emotional connection to that, and that giving back is going to grow over time. Definitely. And then the fans, I think we saw fans, we saw families, we saw men, we saw women come out time and time again to experience AU Pro Basketball. I think, AU's different. It's 4 weeks of competitive play, teams switch every week. You're not playing to be a team sport winner, you're playing to be an individual champion of a team sport. So if you love basketball, high intensity basketball, it's going to be great. And it's a reasonable price point. So I think we saw that grow over time. And I think from tip off to closing night, you saw that swell of energy. And I think by the end of it, people felt like it was their property in town. So that's exciting. And I think that's what energized us to say, how do we make this last longer and how do we build upon it?
I love that for the players, that individual shine, especially for women's basketball. So Maddie, I'm going to mess up Maddie's Seagrass was the champion, which we loved. But that storyline and her storyline would live forever in Nashville, I think. Not just being the first person to win your game, but just also her background and what she's done. So being able to spotlight women's basketball from a player's lens. You guys are player first. Talk about that, because I think we love the players as fans, but as an economic engine, how does that really work for you all?
Yeah, so the company was devised in 2020 specifically to be athlete driven in every way, shape, and form, and it was designed to kind of disrupt the power structure and power model a little bit. So we have athletes on our board of directors. Every one of our leagues is governed by a player executive committee, which is 5 active players that are working in concert with leadership to decide everything about the league, whether that's where we play, what their uniforms look like, what are the penalties that they're going to, what are the rules and regulations, who they're going to invite, they build the rosters. And so it's truly athlete first. And then it is, how do we work with them off the field? Like, what are the causes they care about, and how do we nurture themselves as a whole being as opposed to just a player? And I think you see that if you came to an AU game, there's a positivity and I can't even describe it. There's a certain essence there where they're playing incredibly competitive basketball, but it's joyful because I feel like they're happy because they're playing basketball in a very supportive environment, and they're kind of in charge of their own destiny, right? Like there's no coaches, there's facilitators that will help them from a strategy standpoint, but your teammates are drafting you. So it's a very different environment for them to play, where if they play at the W or if they play internationally, they're not used to that structure. They're used to being told, yeah, exactly.
I love that, and I noticed when I was there, I saw a lot of coaches from other teams scouting, and I thought that was good because not all the players were WNBA players.
No, they're not enough. Not enough. I should say there's less rosters on the WNBA teams than there are exceptional athletes, and so you see a lot of people going overseas to play. AU is very proud of the fact that we were the first entity to offer domestic off-season play, 5-on-5 basketball in the U.S. And so you see players who may be playing internationally that are coming back to get seen by GMs and coaches of W teams. Now there's expansions, obviously, there's going to be more opportunities. You see players that may be coming back from injury, so they're looking to kind of get, and then you see W players who are just looking to sharpen their game on the off season. So it's a really unique mix of people. I think we saw players getting signed to training camps out of AU. We saw several trades coming out of AU, and that's because we had multiple GMs and coaches from W teams courtside all season long. And I think that's a wonderful thing for Nashville, and a wonderful thing for AU.
I think overall the cultural growth of this women's basketball is basically, you guys have set the scene. Like, what can we forecast in the next 2 years since we?
Bigger and better, bigger and better. I want to say, like, we want to see more people in the stands. Pardon me. We want to have a better cultural connection to Nashville. I mean, we had some local entertainment. The Rap Girl did a special AU song, which was awesome. But, we obviously understand and see how Nashville's a tourism city, right? So how do we work closer with the CBC, right? Like, how do we figure out how AU can be positioned and we can build around bringing people to Nashville for AU? I think, so filling stands, obviously, having it be more of an entertainment experience, and how do we elevate and kind of plus up that experience so that when you're coming to an AU game, which typically is a doubleheader, it's an afternoon, like you're settling in. How do we make that as enjoyable as possible? And now that we have time to plan, I think we can do that in a much more effective way.
And then towards the end, there were cocktails and some things. So that was good too.
Always booze.
And so because it wasn't there in the beginning, I'm just putting it out there. Okay. But over the next 2 years, I think we're all excited. But tell us, what can we do? But what I saw, and like we talked about, Titans, the soccer team, everybody was involved. It's really key, but what else can Nashville do to really support you guys?
We're not shy to ask for anything.
I'm giving you the
I think, we just did this kind of postmortem recap, and I think what we're trying to do is figure out what our strategy for Nashville is in 26 and 27. I think having the support and continued support and conversation around our Nashville organizing committee, which they never intended to be a 3-year stint, but will be, is key, because I think like I said, we're in Midtown Manhattan. Like, it's to have partners on the ground help us to plug in where it makes sense. I think we're an organization that because we're nimble and small, we're able to get to yes a lot quicker, and we're more. We're not risk averse at all. So, like, no idea is a crazy idea. And I think the goal for us is to be next year and beyond. And even though we're not here and we don't have a physical location and a facility.
Nancy's here.
Hi, Nancy Vanderbeek. She's also the responsible. Oh, look, your Nashville shirt. I think we want to be, a goal of mine would be considered to be part of this community from a professional sports property standpoint, because I think there's a lot that we can do together. And being the only women's professional sports property here now, we can help to kind of further that alliance between fans of women's sports and fans of men's sports, and how do we bring them together so ultimately you can just be a fan of sport and just pick your property.
Yes. Or just get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
So I'm excited. I think everyone is continuing to be excited. We hope everybody in this room will continue to partner with our great friends at AU Sports and No Limitations. The ideas and the innovation that came out of you guys. They said yes to everything, so that was right up my alley. And so I think continuing to have partnerships that really want to impact community was really their winner. And so I think this was amazing and excited. And Allie, we're gonna see you soon.
Oh yeah, obviously.
All right.
I practically live here now.
There you go.
Okay.
Right. Just don't miss your birthday. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Moncher. And Allie, thank you. I think most people in the room learned a lot. Congratulations on an amazing season 4, and we're excited because we know that season 5 will be even bigger. So thank you for being here. So next on our agenda, we have our executive director's report. Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We got a good crowd in the house today. And Director Holmes-Jones, thank you so much. And Allie, really appreciate your time this morning. Gotta go. So Director Bender gave you some context for this sports spotlight, and it really was a fun year of celebrating women and men who really have impacted, Nashvillians who've impacted the sports community. And we've had great feedback, from viewers of MNN who watched it. It just was a really special thing. So we're excited to bring that back. one of the women that you may remember who we honored through the Spotlight series was TSU track legend Jean Patton Latimer. She played basketball, ran track at Pearl High School, went to TSU, and really became known as the fastest woman on earth because she won gold medals in the 200 and the 4x100 relays at the inaugural Pan Am Games. And then she was inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame last year. And former director Melvin Gill was just a big advocate and really wanting everybody to know her story. And is really one of the reasons, I think, why she got on the radar of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Her daughter reached out on Monday to let us know that she passed on Saturday. But she really wanted to make sure that the members of the authority knew and understood just how much the family appreciated the way that we, just loved them and helped elevate her. And so she just wanted to say thank you. So thank you to the board. Thank you to all of you who were here during that time and who helped us celebrate her life and her legacy. And I know she'll be missed. You have the agenda in front of you. Following my report, Director Hogan will give the Finance Committee report, a couple of recommendations the committee will bring. Then we'll have some facility questions and the report from the Titans. Are there any questions about the agenda? No? Okay. Well, just a few quick announcements. Last week, hopefully you all saw this, the Nashville Sports Council and Bridgestone Arena announced that the Broadway Block Party is coming August 31st. That's a triple header showdown for Big Ten and the SEC. It's going to be some great volleyball. Tickets are on sale. I hear they're moving quickly. So, the growth and explosion of women's volleyball has been really exciting to watch. And so we're excited about that. Also, Melissa Wells, our finance manager, she's like, yes, why are you? HR announced that she has completed her first 5 years of service to Metro. And we're really excited about that because let me tell you, her first day was the day everybody left the office and went home for COVID. And it was a real interesting time, and she hung in there with us, a real valuable member of our team. We really appreciate you. So congratulations on 5 years of service. We hope there will be many more. And then I think Matt is here. Matt, is this your first time Sports Authority? I thought so. So I wanted to point him out in case you haven't met Matt Griechi. You're not going to help me. Griechi, okay. Griechi, says Faulknerson. Griechi is the Senior Vice President, General Manager of the Nashville Super Speedway. And so that you're able to join us this morning. If you haven't had a chance to meet Matt, then please introduce yourself. And we're excited about all that you've got going on out of the Speedway. All right. Thank you. If there are no other questions, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Monica. And congratulations, Melissa. Melissa truly she came in, hit the ground running, and she's truly an asset. So we are happy to have you, and we know we'll have at least 10 or 15 more of those. Thank you for being here. Matt, welcome this morning. Thank you for being with us. We'll look forward to speaking with you later on. Okay, thank you for being here. Next on the agenda, we have our Finance Committee report. Chair Hogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had a busy committee meeting. After we approved the January 16 minutes, we had an update on the SEC men's basketball tournament from Kyle Clayton and John Cooper. And then we considered two very meaningful resolutions. The first was a resolution approving the expenditure of funds for the seasonal upkeep of the bioretention basin and maintenance of the green roof at First Horizon Park. The Sports Authority has an MOU with Metro Water acknowledging that this is our responsibility, and the request is for a not to exceed $6,000 in 2025. Any questions about that? The Finance Committee did recommend approval of the resolution, and I certainly would move for adoption.
Okay. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly seconded. We would move forward with this resolution. Are there any questions or comments? not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Motion passes.
Okay, strap in. I got a lot to go over with the budget here. So the other thing that we did was we considered approval of the Sports Authority's fiscal year 26 operating and capital budgets. The budget is a status quo budget from fiscal year 25, with the exception of office rent. Metro Finance will transfer dollars for our rent from an administrative account, so that'll be zeroed out. Additionally, the proposed budget is for $1,853,000. 71% of that, $1.328 million, is comprised of insurance, primarily on our facilities. A further 21%, $396,000, is for salaries. For the 3 staff positions funded by the general fund, and any salary updates recommended by the mayor and approved by council for the positions will be funded by the finance department. Our 2 finance positions, the finance consultant and the finance manager, are from Sports Authority allocations from the Bridgestone Arena Revenue Fund, and that totals $206,000. And then lastly, the First Horizon Park capital improvement requests for fiscal year 26 were approved by the authority in January and will go to Metro Council for consideration for the 4% funds. And those projects include replacement of the dugout floor for $58,000, replacement of suite seat parts, that's hard to say, $20,500, replacement of 2 HVAC units, $20,800, and lastly, roof repairs for $2,350. The total 4% funding requests are $101,657. Any questions? No? Okay. The Finance Committee also did recommend approval of the resolution, and I will similarly move for adoption, Madam Chair.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded that we would move forward with this resolution. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. And the motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you so much. And I just want to pause here to say thank you to our Finance Committee. There's a lot of work that goes on in that meeting, and it makes for a cleaner full board meeting, but they're able to really dig in and get to the bottom line. So thank you guys for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So now it's time in our meeting where we encourage members to share comments or ask questions of our partners, facility partners. So is there anyone?
I have a question. Some of us weren't in finance. Could we just have the Bridgestone Arena SEC basketball tournament, just a brief update just for the full board?
Okay.
Kyle, would you like to do that?
As he runs
Brevity is key.
Brevity is key.
But it's good to see you guys and hear about the tournament.
So brevity, that makes sense. I would come and not Sean, even though he's here, right? Appreciate that. I did bring John Cooper, our subject matter expert for all things. So, big picture, SEC tournament was fantastic from the basketball side of it all, right? Incredible experience this year. Expanded 2 more teams. Texas and Oklahoma joined. So a total of 8 different sessions this year. Started on Wednesday at noon, ran all the way to Sunday, which was fantastic. Record attendance this year. Just a lot of fun. The reason we came before the Finance Committee meeting is to talk about expenses. There's some expenses that are reimbursed by the Sports Authority to Powers based on an agreement to cover expenses related to the tournament for staffing, decor, and hospitality. Those funds actually come from the waterfall of sales tax funds that are collected on the property. So as much as it is the Sports Authority's requirements to pay for those expenses, it's actually funded by the users of the building. So what we're going to do this year, since there was a alter format of the tournament with adding those extra teams and an extra session, we're going to come before you next month with a proposal to increase that reimbursement amount. Again, it's not coming out of your pockets. It's going to come out of those sales tax funds. But that was the main purpose of coming before the Finance Committee this morning. But again, the overall tournament itself, incredible success. 14 of the 16 teams actually made the NCAA tournament. They did the ESPN selection show on Sunday night, actually live from Bridgestone Arena Plaza. That's never been done before outside of their studio. So it was really a lot of eyeballs on Nashville. Great tournament and a lot of success. So again, we appreciate your guys' support. Sports Council, CVC did a great job. It was just a great way to showcase Nashville to the entire world, essentially, with that national broadcast. Cool. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I have one question. You're right. The SEC was fabulous. I had a great time. Quick question. Do you all have any updates on the bid for the WNBA?
Speaking of experts, Michelle Kennedy is in the house.
Women's History Month will continue our theme on the women's basketball in Nashville. Michelle Kennedy. Yeah. Oh, this one. Go to this one. Take up the whole table. One small person taking up the whole table. So first of all, thanks to all of you for your support, your enthusiasm. What we have heard from this board is largely what we've heard from the entire community. We expected there to be a great response to this bid. It has been beyond our wildest dreams. So I know a lot of people on this board, a lot of people in this room, a lot of people in this city have wanted this for a long time. What we finally got with Bill and Chrissy Haslam was committed ownership. So they were able to sort of get us over that threshold to put us in a position to be real contenders for this. So where it stands right now, as you all know, we submitted an application for consideration to be the 16th WNBA team. As we understand it, 10 to 12 other cities also submitted an application for that. There's been no official word. I will tell you that we are very, very proud of our bid. We're very, very proud of the ownership group that came together that I think will continue to grow. It was led by Bill and Chrissy Haslam. Peyton Manning joined it. Candace Parker joined it. Tim and Faith joined it. And again, there are more big names to come. We don't know officially what the status is. We've read paper just like you've read reports in the media. The media reports that Cleveland has the upper hand on getting the 16th team. Again, we don't know if that's true. We don't know if it's not true. There's not been an official announcement. What I can tell you is that Bill and Chrissy's passion for this was not just for the 16th team. It's to bring professional women's sports here for longer than 1 month a year. It's to bring the WNBA here, whether that's the 16th team, the 17th team, the 18th team, the 22nd team. They will continue to be engaged in this process. They will continue to want this team here, to want the WNBA to be here. It will continue to not make sense not to have it here. I mean, to have professional women's basketball via the WNBA in Nashville, the state of Tennessee, named the Tennessee Summit, there's just nothing that makes more sense. We had an exceptional SEC tournament last week. We'll have another one next year and the next and the next and the next. Both Vanderbilt men's and women's basketball, both Tennessee men's and women's basketball are beginning their March Madness voyage today. Tennessee women's team, in case you guys didn't see this in the media this week, they are the only team in basketball history to participate in every single NCAA tournament. How that doesn't someday produce a WNBA franchise in Nashville, I have no idea. We hope it's going to be the 16th. We don't know that it will. We don't know that it won't. But I am here to tell you that without question, there is commitment from Bill and Chrissy Haslam to bring that here at some point. I'll take questions. Don't know if I can answer, but I'll try.
Please.
That's a hugely encouraging update. My question is, with 12 other cities petitioning to be considered for the 16th team, what are the announced expansion plans? Are they going to expand to 18 and then review it further? Is 16 the only number we've heard? Do you have any sense of that?
So 16 is the only official thing that we've heard.
Okay.
Again, we've heard through the grapevine, and it's not an official grapevine, it's an unofficial grapevine, as most grapevines are, that they may, because of all the submissions that came and how impressed they were by all of them, they may take this opportunity to go beyond 16 to 17 or 18. The same grapevine also has current NBA teams associated with those expansion franchises. Again, we know the selection committee likes Nashville. We know the selection committee likes the ownership group we put together. Do NBA teams have a decided advantage in the short term? Maybe. We'll have to see. But again, I think there will be, if you think about the explosion of women's sports and the explosion specifically of women's basketball, these opportunities are going to continue to come. This is not going to be a league that stops at 16 or 17 or 18. And I think that we will see that expansion and maybe some relocations happen more quickly than we've seen the evolution of the league to this point. So 16 is all that's official. could be more. I just think there'll be a lot of activity in this space for a number of years to come. And I think we'll be right in the middle of that activity.
Awesome. Other questions?
I just have a quick comment. I think we also need to note Bridgestone Arena being the home to this endeavor that we know is going to come sooner or later. And if we didn't have the facility and the team at the Predators and all the support, we wouldn't be in this position. So thank you, and that doesn't go unnoticed.
Well, thank you very much. I've said in a number of different conversations we've had about the WNBA that we think dark days at Bridgestone Arena are sad days. And so we try to build a calendar that keeps us from being very sad very often. This would add, 20-something events a year. In the interim, believe me, we will keep having events at that building and making it the busiest one in North America. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Clearly, we're all very excited about the potential of bringing WNBA to Nashville. So thank you for that. And also, I just want to pause and commend Bridgestone for continuing to shine brightly throughout the SEC tournament. And you guys look great on TV. And I did make a few games, but you really make us proud. So thank you all for all you do. Any other facility questions, comments? So I just want to take this opportunity to mention that at the end of this month, I think the Sounds will kick off their season. And I think that we are about to celebrate the 10th year of First Horizon Park. Is that correct? So congratulations. Okay, so the final item on our agenda is the Titans DBE update and stadium monthly progress report. I have Adolfo Birch, Kellen DeCourcy with CAA Icon, and John Grumas of Tennessee Builders Alliance. And they all are present. Welcome this morning.
We are, in fact, present today. Thank you. And as always, we want to thank you for the opportunity to give you an update on the stadium and related matters. We are mindful of the earlier request for brevity, so we will try to do that today. But in short, there's been a lot of progress, not only in terms of the construction schedule, but also in terms of our workforce efforts, our participation efforts, our community efforts. And in order to respect your time, I think we ought to just get into it. And if you have any questions, we'll certainly try to answer them afterwards. So we'll start out with
good morning, board.
introduction in.
All right. It's been 2 months since we last saw you, and it's again been another productive and exciting month for the project. Here you'll see an aerial view of the stadium taken last week. We've eclipsed a couple exciting milestones on the project. We are now over a year on construction. We have 2 more years to go, but we are on schedule. And also, I know John is going to speak to some labor statistics, but we have eclipsed 1 million labor hours on the project, so that's very exciting. And we're also going to have a little celebration, I think, next week for that, for the workers. So it's very exciting to see this building shape come to form. You can start to really see now that I think we've mentioned it before, the field is rotated from the existing stadium that we're in here today, but you can actually kind of start to see the difference in the seating bowl, how we have the curved sidelines, and that's part of our improved sightlines and seating experience for the fans. This next image here I just thought was a great one to show you as the sun is rising over East Nashville. This really just puts into perspective all of the logistics and coordination that goes into place, creating the structure here with 7 cranes in the bowl and around the stadium. And then we'll go into another fun and exciting drone video here. You'll start to see here, this is the west side of the stadium. That's our main entry gate to the stadium, and also great views to downtown. In the future, you'll start to see here on the top, we're starting to place the steel for the exterior terrace. That's about 40,000 square feet of exterior terrace on the upper concourse. And we're swinging around here on the south sideline of the stadium. You'll start to see there's some infrastructure work here. That's our cistern tank. That's one of the largest stormwater storage tanks. And then our cooling tower well that will help cool and heat the building. And then as we fly down here, we haven't really shown this before, but this is the loading dock. We're very excited about how this will function for us in the operations of the stadium. We have an ingress ramp and an egress ramp, so we don't have to turn around. We actually have a fun feature on the wall there of the retaining wall is actually shaped like Tennessee limestone. And then as we fly here around on the north side of the stadium, you'll start to see, again, the completion of the underground player parking garage. That has just wrapped up. And then we are coming up here on the top of the upper concourse. A fun fact, we are going to be wrapping up the concrete work. The majority of the superstructure work will end in May, so we're about 2 months away. And then you'll start to see, I don't think this took place when we last updated everyone. We have now seating bowl, precast pieces are being set. There's been 275 pieces set, so we're over 10% complete. And then we are about 90% complete with the concrete structure. And then a fun fact to point out, I think the concrete structure is significant and everyone notices as they drive around, but what's really exciting is that to point out is that we'll actually be doubling the height of that structure with the steel that'll be starting to go up, and folks can start to see that take place. And then we wanted to bring everyone on a ground level perspective. This is something that we don't really see from the aerial drone videos that we've shown before, but really showing all of the work that's actually happening inside the building. There's a ton of work happening. We do have 900 plus workers on site daily. And then we are just kind of walking through here on the mezzanine level or our plaza level. We are circling into one of the larger club spaces. This is right around the 50-yard line. But you can really start to see all of the level of coordination and effort that is going into creating this building, from the work that TBA is doing along with our design partners at TVS. A lot of coordination to make sure that every part of the building is going in and is coordinated. We will be getting a perspective here as we move into one of our main entry gates. You'll start to see we've actually started to set escalators as well. So you'll start to see 4 of our 44 escalators on the project. So this is actually the drone that flies, and one of TBA's drone experts is actually carrying it. So there's actually a fly-through interior drone that they're going to start utilizing, which I'm excited to show those. But this is just walking through the building. This is actually going to be the home of the future Titan Stadium Ops offices that is being framed out. And then what we're really, again, have always been excited about for this future building, and we're going to end this tour, is in the 12,000 square foot community center space. Here as you walk through this set of doors, it's going to be a great volume of space that can be programmed in many ways. And then we'll have on the right-hand side glass that views to downtown and the future park that that the city is coordinating on. So that's where we will kind of wrap up that fly through and walk through, if you will. So I know there's going to be a tour here later, but this is just giving everyone a perspective of how much work is actually taking place inside the building. And then lastly, I also wanted to point out, I think I mentioned this in our last update, but a less visible project that the Titans are working on and coordinating in partnership with Metro Water is to build the future pump station for the East Bank district. So this is actually not really visible because it's all underground work. You'll see here, this is an aerial photo. This is a 15 million gallon sewer pump station. And there's also, I'm going to zoom in a little closer, you can start to see that excavation activity that's happening. And then they're also tunneling for the pipe connection to the new stadium. That work is actually being tunneled underneath Woodland Street currently. So another exciting project that we're overseeing, and ultimately is targeted to complete at the end of 26. So that concludes the construction update. Unless there's any questions.
Okay, hearing none, we'll try to move on to some of the sort of numbers around the numbers. we thought there were a couple things that would be of interest to the authority this particular month. The first is our measurement with respect to the number of local firms that have been able to participate in the project thus far. There are 114 as of last count out of a denominator of 277. That to us is a very important number because it is reflective of the commitment that we made, the commitment that you as the authority made to try to really be participatory and inclusive on involvement of local, small, local big, state-based firms as part of this project. And we've been extremely proud of being able to reach this number as a part of that. Oh. And here we have a, what is it?
Sheila.
I know, why is Sheila? Where is she? So that's Sheila Dalbarton. She is our design, she's leading our design efforts, but I'm trying to click it. Okay.
My name is Sheila Dalbarton. I'm with EOA Architects. This project is a legacy for us on a personal scale and on a professional scale and as a community member. You know, I've been in Nashville since 1997, so I've spent half my life going to Titans games, and it's always exciting to root for the home team. But to work on a project like this that is so transformative for our city, it builds community, it is really making a neighborhood of the East Bank and all the development that will go around the East Bank, promoting communal spaces, green spaces. It just has all those components that make a good city. And so we're excited that a legacy of EOA is that we were involved on such a pivotal project.
Okay, moving forward to the participation end of things, as you can see, we are still moving swiftly on the ability to incorporate and include a number of different types of firms in the project. Currently, as you will see, the numbers come in just under $74 million in terms of actual paid amounts, and we think probably more important and more reflective of our efforts. That includes 57 different firms, which is, I think, a number that we should all be proud of, in addition to the amount of spend that has actually occurred thus far.
Adolfo, I have a question. Small businesses, what size business?
Oh,
Do not recall the cutoff.
yeah, we can find the number through BAO, but there is a, they have a designation for that, but we'll find that and give it to you.
Appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. I'll cover some of the information that I've covered in the past, so there's some consistent format to this. As Kellen mentioned, we continue to progress. We had 952 workers on site today that will continue working, so we're going to average 950 for a while, and then it's going to increase from there. Kellen also mentioned this 982, almost 983,000 represents hours through February 28th. With the workforce that's there on a weekly basis, we're putting in almost 50,000 work hours a week. So we have eclipsed the 1 million mark. We will have a celebration, a full job site Sandown on Monday, the 24th, to celebrate all the great work that everyone has contributed up to this point. You can see the minority participation. It's about 70% of the work hours. I had previously mentioned that we'll probably see that number decline a little bit as we shift from a mostly concrete phase construction into some other trades. Drywall's beginning, masonry's beginning. A lot of mechanical, electrical, plumbing are in progress right now. So those, I'll continue to report the information as it progresses. And you can also see the promise zone, very important to us. It's about 20% of the workforce, and almost 30% of the work hours come from promise zone, people living in promise zone. So we're very proud of that as well.
some information. I'd like to start with the second bullet here. We're very proud to report there were no recordable incidents in the month of February, so another good month for us in that regard. We've had, I noted previously that we have first aids, and that could be anywhere from administering some aspirin to someone has a sore shoulder that they want to get checked on to make sure nothing significant's happened. So we had 10 additional first aids that were in February. We'll continue to report that information. But also, we hit that information in a reactive manner when something happens, but we're doing a lot of, I think, really good things from a proactive standpoint as well. So I wanted to address some health and wellness activities that are happening. The month of February was Heart Healthy Month. We did over 600 blood pressure checks for workers where we made it very visible for them to come in. The entire workforce does not necessarily go get annual physicals or get some of those checks on a regular basis. So we make that as convenient as we can. We've done over 700 for the project. But then the wellness checks that we record are over 3,500. And those are very proactive things that we're doing that are not in response to something that's happening, but in preparation for preventing anything from happening. So we'll continue to report that information as well. And then just a quick update on workforce in our TC2. We've graduated 5 cohorts. Cohort number 6 is in place. There are 14 graduates that will graduate next Friday, the 31st, or the 28th, the 28th. So we'll go from 49 to 63 total graduates. And you can see the demographics of the participants in those cohorts. So we're proud of the activity. That will continue happening every month. Number 6 will wrap up, and then we'll quickly plan for number 7.
So that completes our report. I did want to do 2 things. One is to recognize and welcome a guest that we have today. One of the league offices, Senior Vice President of Communication, Katie Hill, who is also a Nashvilleian. I just wanted to acknowledge her and let her be welcomed by and then also just to make sure that you review in your report, in your written report, some of the activities that have been going on the One Community side in particular, namely the game plan sessions, and also the newest cohort of the Project Destin group, as well as the fact that the First and Goal small business support programs have started making their actual awards, so you can sort of see the progress of some of those. I didn't want to leave those unspoken about. But with that, if you have any questions, we're happy to take them. Otherwise, we can get toward our tour.
We do have a question. Director Hogan.
Adolfo, I'll direct this to you. It appears as though the Tennessean has just reported that the governor has submitted a letter of interest to the NFL for the consideration of the 2029 Super Bowl. Can you tell us what that process looks like and what our chances are?
You will not get me, especially with our NFL communications expert here. Listen, the process is certainly very involved. It is a detailed process. We're certainly interested. A part of it have been trying to do as much as we can do to put forward the best foot that Nashville can, that this stadium can, that this state can. We are very confident in what we can offer, and I think as time progresses and we start to see it shape out, I think we are certainly very confident that we can get where we need to get if we continue to have the collaboration and support and involvement of all of the various stakeholders, including yourselves.
Very good. Would it be unusual for a new stadium to be awarded a Super Bowl within its first couple of years?
It would not be unusual.
Good to know. Thank you.
Minnesota, I believe, right? Minnesota had a Super Bowl, got one while their stadium was under construction.
Yes, they obtained the award for one while it was under construction. Yes.
And to go back a little bit, Katie and Haley and I used to work together. And already when I met her this morning, welcomed her back to Nashville, I reminded her that we was wanting a Super Bowl here pretty soon.
I'm glad you did.
Great. Any other questions? Not, yes.
This is really more of a comment, and I want to say thank you to the Predators, to the Titans, Nashville SC. I've had a chance to work with a couple of FIS students. One is doing an internship with Nashville SC, the other one with the Predators. And next Friday, they're putting on a sports expo, I think with the maybe the Office of Career Development. And they've been so grateful for the way the teams, I know I've talked to Kate and a number of you in here, for the way that you all have just really supported what they are doing. They're very excited. And so just wanted to say that publicly. And we really do look at the sports community here. I'm very proud of everyone involved and how you talk about what's going on with workforce development and with students in one community and how you all continue to try to make Nashville better for everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Any other comments? Yes. Question?
Yes. After this comment, one thing's for sure, we wouldn't be putting in a bid for Super Bowl in the stadium right outside these windows. So really glad that we're in a position to do that now. We've always seemingly talked about safety. Rightly so, the Sports Authority has a concern about that, and you've been so gracious to really dig into the incidents. On the outside looking in, like I am, it appears to me that these numbers that you have relative to reportable incidents are pretty low considering how many hours you've got and the kind of process here. Do you have data, comparable data to show how good that is in comparison to others?
Yeah, and thank you for the question. There are, to normalize a size of a project, there are rates that capture safety performance, and it's called the recordable incident rate. And it's a simple math equation. It's the number of your recordables times 200,000 for some reason divided by the number of work hours that you've put in place. When you do that math for this project through the end of February, our recordable incident rate is 1.17. Relative to national averages and state average, the national average is 1.7, 170. We're at 117, so we're well below that. And we understand from TOSHA, I actually got that information from them earlier this week, the average in the state of Tennessee is 1.9. So the state is slightly above the national average, and where we are right now is 1.17. And we'll continue to see a significant 50,000 hours a week will continue going into the denominator. Our goal is to drive that recordable incident rate towards 0.5. With the number of recordables we have, we can't drive it to zero because there's something in the numerator, but our goal is to drive that to 0.5, which would be best in class in the country.
Well, I thank you for that, and it just appears to me that that's the case because of a high level of focus on that issue, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? If not, thank you all for that report. So this concludes our agenda, and I too would like to thank Kate Hill for being with us this morning. We're happy to have you here. Come back and visit us often. Hopefully you'll have a reason to. With that, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, April 17th at First Horizon Park. The Finance Committee will meet prior to, and that information will be forthcoming. So if there are no other comments or questions, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.